Hi, my name's Norm Roderick. I was born and raised in Augusta in the 50s and 60s. When I was growing up, downtown Augusta, Water Street, was the center of the universe for Augusta residents. This is where you got everything. And especially on a Thursday night during the holiday season, it was a busy, bustling, intimate place. Stores were open till 9 o'clock. And remember back then, everything was here. There were no malls, far fewer cars. This is where the action was. Times have changed, of course, not only here but nationwide. We became much more of a car mall-centered society. Augusta's downtown reflected this cultural and economic change. A lot of small businesses went out of business, stores were shuttered, a lot of the space was what they call dark or black. Another connection to our past are three surviving trades here in the downtown Augusta: a cobbler, a seamstress, and a stereo repair person. The services they provide reflect a simpler and more frugal time in our past when a single pair of shoes might have cost you a week's wages and they were worth repairing. Or you might hire a seamstress or a milliner to make your wedding dress. And if you had a radio or a stereo or a TV, more than likely in the 50s, it operated on tubes. And you certainly didn't throw that away or replace it, you had it repaired. Back in that time, there were dozens of seamstresses, cobblers, and retail stereo sales and repair shops here in Augusta. Today there is one cobbler and only 8 in the entire state of Maine. There are 2 full-time seamstresses that operate in Augusta in the downtown area and 1 stereo repairman. How did they survive this cultural and economic transformation? What motivated them to get into this as a career? And what is their work like? And who are their customers? Join me as I visit with them and we learn more about these 3 interesting and unique tradespeople in downtown Augusta.
Hello, my name is Peter LaHaye. I'm the owner, operator of the Stereo Doctor in Augusta, Maine. I've had this business for 23 years. I started in 1991. Initially started doing car stereo repairs, installations, stuff like that. But I eventually branched off into home stereo equipment, home audio, professional sound equipment. I've been in this particular building since 2009. I originally started out in my own shed at home and eventually got a retired full-size ambulance and converted it into a mobile repair shop. Kind of an interesting way to do things, go out to my customers rather than having them come to me. That worked pretty well for about 4 years. Eventually moved to a different location downtown Augusta, rented the space from Pavlov's Music, which worked out pretty well because he was one of my primary customers, working on professional audio gear. And he wound up closing up his business, so I had to find a different location and get rented some space from Capital Computers, and I've been here since 2009. I pretty much knew from high school that I wanted to get into electronics repair of some sort. Both my father and 2 older brothers had gotten into different forms of electronics, and most all of us in the military. So I knew I wanted to be something with electronics. And I've always had a enjoyment, passion for music, listening to music, and just like good quality music. So I went in the military for an electronics program repairing 2-way radio equipment, which is pretty similar. Electronics is pretty much a few types of circuits and they're just manipulated in different ways. So I spent 4 years in the military doing that, and when I got out, I found a job working with company doing car stereo repairs. I kind of enjoyed that, and actually worked for a couple of different branch offices for the same company. And being that it was a kind of a small company, I was got to know pretty well the operation of the company, and as far as the finances and what was needed to run the business. And so I kind of had an idea to start my own business, doing a similar thing. Didn't start the business right off, but I worked for another communication company working on two-way communication equipment again. And while I was working for them, I looked into what it would take legally and such to start my own business in Maine. And eventually did that, working part-time from home. And once that got going well enough, I quit my job with Dorla Communication back then and went on my own. New, modern stereo sound equipment that uses old tube technology. There's something about the sound that tubes give to music that you just can't replicate with modern solid-state electronics, and it's still a thriving industry. Let's see, what I like about my work is I really like listening to music. All my life I've really enjoyed music. And consequently, while fixing stuff, I get to listen to music all day. So I almost have to listen to music, which is a nice bonus. But I really enjoy troubleshooting, diagnosing, figuring out the problems, and coming up with solutions. Some solutions aren't quite as easy as you think they might be, but just finding different ways to fix problems. Since I do work on a lot of older stuff, some parts aren't available, so I got to come up with either a substitute or a different way of fixing it. I really enjoy the satisfaction of being able to fix it, come up with a solution, and the gratitude I get from the customers when something, it may be a piece that they've had for many years that they really cherish, and the gratification that they get having it working again. It's worked for 23 years, so I really enjoy it. Really enjoy a lot of it.
Hi, I'm Tom LaCase. My business is Tom Finn Shoe Repair. I've been at it on my own, 30 years. I started working for my father when I was a freshman in high school. He had a store in Skowhegan, shoe repair. And I think all my family worked at the shoe repair. All my brothers anyways. There were 5 of us. We all learned how to repair shoes. My brother Dick and I are the only 2 that stayed repairing shoes. Everybody else does something else. I came down here in 1984. We opened a shop up in the Kmart Plaza when we first started out. 2 other shoe repairs in town, so we had some competition. I've outlasted both of them. Moved down here right after the flood of 86 or 7. I can't remember where the year the flood was. I think 87. And I've been here ever since. Back when I first started this business, I used to do a lot more good dress shoes, like men's leather soles, dress shoes, that sort of thing. That's a little harder to find these days. I probably used to go through, dozen to 2 dozen pair of leather soles a week, putting them on. now it's a dozen a month to put them on. Business has gone away from leather soles more to rubber soles, where more casual shoes as opposed to dress shoes. We've done some rather bizarre fixes over the years. I had a gentleman come in one time with a 16-foot canvas boat that I had to sew back up on the gunnels. He brought that in. It was like, took the whole length of the store almost to fix it. It was pretty funny. And he also brought in a couple of tents that he used at Common Ground Fair, the big spires. He had me put zippers in the doors of that. We do a lot of different odd jobs. Snowshoes, saddle work. I do, for our NRF, we do a bunch of cargo netting, some different stuff. The business has changed, so we have to do more different things as opposed to just soles and heels anymore. A lot of ladies come in, they dress heels. Augusta's a good area for that. A lot of people have to dress up to work, so we do a lot of dress stuff. But still a lot of the basic work boots, things like that. But I do some rather odd sewing jobs. A lot of leather jackets. Motorcycle groups, they like me. I put a lot of their leather patches on their jackets for their different clubs they belong to. That's very common in the summertime. Let's say, do a lot of, big part now is the orthopedic work. We do lifts on shoes, changing the shoes because people have either a short leg or different feet. And we have to adjust the shoe to fit their feet. That's a big part of the business now. Back in like 2009, when the economy tanked, everyone was so afraid they weren't going to have any money. That was probably the best year I've ever had in shoe repair. The national news did a bunch of things on things that did well during recessions, and shoe repair happened to be one of them. And we were all over the national news. And suddenly everybody was getting their shoe repair, and that was like in January. So, which is the slowest time of the year for us, and we never slowed down all winter long because the recession was awesome. But as things pick up, we stay steady, but usually a recession keeps us busier. People are more worried about keeping their stuff because they can't afford new stuff. But and a good pair of shoes these days, very expensive. So, all right, this machine I got when I first started the business. We've bought it originally. Answer machine will get that. Bought this originally. We opened up. This is my first big expense. These two machines here. Basically does everything that it has sanding belts, trimmers for the edges, buffing wheels, burnishing wheels. Pretty much can't do this business without this machine. It's very, very important to keep this one running. Yeah, this is a Goodyear stitcher. Probably built in the 1930s or 40s. Very complicated little machine. It's got like 4 cams, but it's just more of things running. Takes a machinist just to keep this thing going. I have to adjust it all the time. Gets out of whack, but very crucial for sewing on soles. It was built over in Dexter, Maine. They built a lot of those over there. In fact, we had a machine company over there called Sutton Landis. I used to have one of their machinists used to work on it back in the day when they were still open over there. He'd come down, fix me up, keep it going. Now there's really nobody in Maine that even fixes them. I think there's a guy down in Connecticut now, and closest machinist that knows anything about them. It's a little scary. I guess we're running out of those kind of craftsmen to fix these things. Well, I know when I was growing up, my father did this, so I did this as my high school job. And I can honestly tell you, I never thought I'd be doing this when I was after I got out of high school. But I came back to it, and turned out I really liked the working for myself, owning my own business. Loved the customers, loved the interaction with people. The shoe repair, a lot of rote stuff, but then you get these creative jobs where you rebuild something that no one thinks can be rebuilt. They think it's gone past and never be used again, and you find a way to rebuild it so it looks good and they can wear it again. That part I do like. It's rather a creative part of the business. Really like the orthopedic build-up part of the business, because that's, again, very creative, trying to make it look so it doesn't show. I love it that they think it's going to look like this horrible thing, and when they get it back, they go, "Oh, that doesn't show at all. This should be great." So I like the creative part of it. I really like the interaction with the customers. That makes it very enjoyable. And I will say, not having a boss goes a long ways to my enjoyment. Owning my own business, doing the shoe repair, it's been a fabulous life, and I've really enjoyed it.
My name is Wanda Lessard. I've been doing this for most of my life. I have been doing it full-time for 21 years now. I decided I wanted to make a change from being in business and starting my own business, since it's something I've always enjoyed doing, and it has worked out well for me. It's a little stressful owning your own business at times, but it's also a lot of fun, and you get to meet a lot of fun people. I started this business 21 years ago. I named it Material Instincts. I wanted a name that would be a little catchy, that people would remember. And I started out, when I started full-time, I was in the Farrell's building on Water Street. An opportunity came to buy this building at 234 Water Street. So I made my move here, and I've been here ever since. And my entrance is on the commercial street side. You just come in the back door. This is an old sewing machine that came out of a shoe shop, and it is early 1900s. The shoe shop was one that my sister worked in New Hampshire, and they were closing the shop down, so I wanted something that would do a good job on jeans. People are very fussy about that, and rightly so. And heavier materials that I sometimes work with, and I had my machine technician refit it to be used on cloth. I have found that over the years, business has changed with the economy. I think the quality of even high-end clothing is not what it used to be. I think there's definitely a problem with quality control in the factories, but with the economy and changes, my business, I wouldn't say that it goes up, but it doesn't really change much, because people that are in business need new suits for the different seasons. Will still buy them, but instead of buying 5 or 6 maybe new suits, they might shop in their closet and repurpose one that they've had from the year before that is still good enough to use, but maybe needs a little bit of updating because of a style change. So really, the economy is kind to my business in most ways. It seems that most of my work on a general level is alterations, but I also do some interesting things. I make custom clothing for several customers who like a style that's no longer available to them. I also make costumes for an Elton John impersonator. That's always fun to do, different, interesting. Over the years, I've done many different and interesting costumes and custom work for different people. One instance would be a grandmother who had her bridal gown turned into a christening dress for her granddaughter. Little projects like that are a lot of fun to do. They kind of break up the monotony, make things different and interesting. I have always it seems like I've done this my whole life. I have sewn part-time since I was a teenager. As any business that you own has its ups and downs, but basically I love my business. My customers are great. There's a lot of satisfaction in knowing that I've made someone something special, or that I've done something that has helped them and made them happy. It's interesting and different every day. It's nice being your own boss, and it is great to have the interaction with the public. It definitely has more ups than downs. I plan on doing this for a few more years until I get ready to retire. Hopefully there will be a point where I can pique someone younger's interest into doing the same thing I'm doing to carry on the tradition, because we shouldn't let it die. It should be something that will always be available to people.